The Vision Gear, a very boring yet very effective way to search on bushes. And today we have a very big question: whether should the Vision Gear reveal or not invisible enemies? This will obviously change so much about how you play Leon and Sandy, but you might be asking, why is this such a big question? Because back in the days, this was how the Vision Gear used to work, so a lot of the interactions were really solid for the Vision Gear until they nerfed it. So today I'm gonna show you some facts that might actually surprise you a little bit about this gear. Hope you enjoy. So let's start where it all began. 27th April 2022. The old Resistance gear was officially replaced by the Vision gear. A vision that could reveal the bushes and invisible enemies for 2 seconds. This was a very bad start for the Vision gear because all of the brawlers that needed the Resistance gear pretty much didn't need the Vision gear. But that's a thing for another video. About Sandy and Leon, before even the gear was even a thing, they were both pretty good. Actually, Sandy even received a nerf a little bit after the Vision gear got released. So this just shows that at first glance, the Vision gear was not even that strong. But what actually happened, or what it seems to happen, was at least that the meta just simply evolved, with new brawlers being introduced, a couple balance changes to buffs to counters of Sandy and Leon, like Jean, Crow for example. Those two characters just became stronger, and for what it looks like, it just seems that the Vision gear got a little bit blamed for the lack of success that Leon players and Sandy players were having. But in reality, when we really look deep into it, it was more of a coincidence than it was actually Vision Gear's fault. And you can actually check this out by most of the popular YouTubers' opinions back then. They were all saying that the Vision Gear, by removing that invisibility thing, which most of the people were already expecting at this point, that everything would just work out well for them, that they would go back to the A tier. But in reality, it didn't change much. Both of these brawlers, not only they stayed in the C tier, as they actually even got a couple buffs later. Like, the Vision gear nerf didn't change literally anything about the brawlers, and it didn't change anything at the start as well. What truly happened was that Leon and Sandy got a little bit on a worse meta, and both of them had already received a couple nerfs before the Vision gear was even a thing. So it looks more like the Vision gear was just an inconvenience, it was just the cherry on top of the cake, because those nerfs and the meta changes were just catching up to them. And the Vision gear had such a little impact, or the Vision gear nerf actually had such a little impact, that, as I said, both of them even received a couple buffs. Leon got a HP buff, which didn't change much, and Sandy got a lot more. To start off, Sandy received a damage buff, which it was the nerf that she received a while ago. Later that same year, if I'm correct, her charge rate was decreased from 7 hits to 6 hits, which you can already guess it helped her out a lot. While on the other hand, Leon had a buff to his Vision gear, where his extra super duration was increased from an extra 1 second to an extra 2 seconds, which also helped him out because of both of his star powers. And Sandy lastly received a buff to her Mythic gear as well, which makes so that the damage reduction of the Mythic gear was increased from 10% to 20%. All of these buffs combined, they made both of the brawlers, especially Sandy, a B tier. Leon was still not considered a great pick, that is the truth, but that just proves how the Vision gear had zero impact on their life pretty much. The Vision gear was just blamed for everything. So the question is, back to the big question: should the Vision gear reveal invisible enemies? And I will say that it should. That was an important interaction that the Vision gear had, and it helped a lot. And the reality is, Eugene still counters Sandy and Leon with or without the Vision gear. even with the vision gear wouldn't change anything because I mean they're invisible. The vision gear does not change that anymore. But Eugene and Crow are still counters to them. I mean, most of the characters that would counter those brawlers, they just still counter. The vision gear was more of an extra help and an inconvenience for Leon and Sandy, and not the reason why they were failing. And even though a lot of probably YouTubers were saying that they needed the nerf, the vision gear needed the nerf, in my honest opinion, I feel like people just overreacted way too much. And the buffs and the history just proves it. So now that Leon and Sandy are crazy OP, especially Sandy because of that new hypercharge, and I mean, Leon hypercharge is broken as well. Leon has already just received nerfs. I am pretty sure that if Sandy received nerfs, she would also go a little bit down, but it does not matter. I feel like the vision gear should reveal invisible enemies, and that's my opinion. But hey, what's your opinion? Do you think that the vision gear should reveal invisible enemies? Write your opinion in the comments down below. Trust me, I will read them, and I'll see you on the next video.